How's everyone doing? Today I'll be doing my top 10 snowy setting horror movie list. And as always, these lists are subjective, so definitely let me know what you think of my list and what movies would be on your top 10 list for snowy setting horror movies. These are the top 10 movies I consider to be the best horror movies with a snowy setting. Personally, I love movies with a snowy setting. I've always been fascinated with snow, and it gives you that feeling of isolation as well, which really heightens the tension. And I love horror movies with a snowy setting. There aren't quite enough of them, and there should definitely be more. And I'm always looking for more snowy setting horror movies, so if there's not one on my list that you think I should have on my list, definitely let me know. But now let's get into the list of my top 10 snowy setting horror movies. Let's check it out. And my number 10 spot for the top snowy setting horror movies is Bob Clark's Black Christmas. Now, when I think of this movie, I tend to think more of them inside of the sorority house, but it is a snowy setting outside, and there are a few scenes outside. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on my list for top 10 horror movies with a snowy setting, because this is a fantastic film, completely creepy and atmospheric. The guy calling in, prank calling, making all the weird noises and, sexual advances. And really, this movie is groundbreaking and genre-defining for the slasher genre. The POV style shot for the killer right there, the calls inside the house, so many things here that have influenced future films. And this one is just an all-time classic. This one creeps me the heck out to this day. I love the ending. So many great memorable moments in here. This had to be on the list. And it's crazy to think that Bob Clark, who directed Black Christmas, also directed the Christmas classic, A Christmas Story. Two completely different movies involving Christmas, but two fantastic films. And my number 9 spot is Silent Night, Deadly Night. Robert Brian Wilson, who played Billy, did a fantastic job here. Very believable in his character of him losing his mind, going crazy and killing people. Naughty. And I love when he visits Grandpa as well. You better run, boy. You better run for your life. And this one is just basically Billy dressed up in a Santa suit, losing his mind, after he lost his parents, killed by somebody dressed up in a Santa suit. And he was sent to an orphanage, and he's had a real rough time with the nuns. And he just loses his mind, goes crazy, and starts killing people with an axe. And I love the scene with the deer antlers as well, and the beheading scene on the sled. So many great memorable horror scenes in this one. An absolute snowy setting horror classic. And my number 8 spot is the French infected horror movie called Mutants. And I rarely hear anybody talk about this one, which is a shame because this is a fantastic French infected film. Definitely one of the better modern horror movies in my opinion, with a great snowy setting. It's about a group of survivors. They have this infected virus going on. They're trying to find safety at this military base that supposedly has the cure. They have scientists there, and something happens. They have to take refuge into an abandoned building, and things get crazy, and they have to fight to survive. It's just a very atmospheric film, great gore effects, and the setting really works here with the snow. Gives you that sense of isolation and really heightens the tension that goes all throughout the movie. And my number 7 spot is the horror comedy movie Dead Snow, a great Norwegian film. It has killer Nazi zombies. What more could you want? And again, the snowy setting really works to heighten that tension, give you that sense of isolation. And I love the comedy all throughout here. And I love the look to the zombies as well. Some great gore in here all throughout, some brutal scenes, and definitely some memorable moments in here too with the kills. Again, very entertaining. And next up at my number 6 spot is Misery, a fantastic Stephen King adaptation from Rob Reiner. And wow, Kathy Bates blew me away in here as Annie Wilkes, the obsessed fan. James Caan, you really root for him, playing Paul Sheldon, the novelist. He's trapped in the blizzard, and he gets taken in by Annie Wilkes, and he's trying to get out of there, but she won't let him leave, and she's torturing him, and great performances in here, and very suspenseful all throughout. It had to be on my top 10 snowy setting horror movie list. And my number 5 spot for top 10 snowy setting horror movies is another Norwegian film, Cold Prey 2. I actually prefer this one over the first one. It has a great mixture of settings that I personally love for horror movies. It has a hospital setting and a snowy setting. Both of those together work perfectly here. A fantastic slasher, one of the better slashers of recent years. Again, that feeling of isolation. You're trying to fight to survive against this killer. And there's some cool kill scenes in here, and I love that tension and suspense all throughout. And I love the storyline for it as well for the killer. And I'm at number 4 spot for top 10 snowy setting horror movies is 30 Days of Night, which has become one of my all-time favorite vampire movies now. I can't believe they haven't utilized this concept before with vampires going to Alaska, you know, for the 30 Days of Night and, you know, taking advantage of that. I just love this one. The creepy look to the vampires, the way they talk. Oh, it's excellent. And Ben Foster in here, he really steals the show too. I love his character in here. And I love the bleak ending to it. Lots of great suspense all throughout. When they're holed up in the house, when they face the vampires, when they're going into the story, see the little girl vampire. There's just so many great scenes in here. It's a dirty and dark modern vampire movie that really has fangs. And I love the way that the blood pops on the white snow. Really stands out. And at my number 3 spot is the Swedish horror drama, Let the Right One In. Again, this one transcends genres for me. It's one of the best movies ever in my opinion now. I absolutely love this one. A fantastic vampire film here, and I love the acting from the young child actors. They did a fantastic job. And this one has such great suspense. I love the interaction with the characters. You really feel for them. And I love the scene towards the end with the arm in the swimming pool, and then the scene after that as well. I can't say enough great things about this film. It's a masterpiece in my opinion, and definitely has the snowy setting going on, so it had to be on the list. And at my number 2 spot for snowy setting horror movies is The Shining. Stanley Kubrick right here. Fantastic job, and the acting performances were phenomenal. So much creepy imagery all throughout. The twins, the old lady in the bathtub, the blood all coming out there, that river of blood, and then the chase through the maze. I love this one. And then Jack Nicholson losing his mind and the whole backstory there. It's just so creepy and effective, and I love the snowy setting. You're completely trapped there in the hotel, and you're completely isolated. You can't get away. You have to fight for your life. This is a classic, and it had to be on the list. And my number 1 top snowy setting horror movie has to be John Carpenter's The Thing. An all-time classic, great sci-fi horror film right here. That Antarctic research station is a fantastic setting right here. Again, with all the snow, really gives you that feeling of isolation. And I love the paranoia all throughout. You know, this alien creature that shapeshifts and can take the, you know, the form of people. I love that aspect a lot. The practical effects. You know, Rob Bottin was fantastic here. Dean Cundy's cinematography, Ennio Morricone's score, John Carpenter was fantastic directing-wise. The whole cast. I think the practical effects still stand the test of time in my opinion. Everything about this one works for me. It's my all-time favorite movie as well, and there's just so many remarkable scenes that stay with you long after viewing. John Carpenter's The Thing had to be my number 1 top snowy setting horror movie. This is just a masterpiece. Everything about this film works. And there you go. There's my top 10 best snowy setting horror movies. And let me know what you think of my list and the movies if you've seen them, and what movies would be on your top 10 snowy setting horror movie list. Leave me a comment or video response down below. Hope everyone's doing well. Take care.
Sublime.